Welcome to Wolves Weekly. I'm Barrett Henderson, Director of Media Relations here at Western Oregon University. Joined once again by head men's basketball coach Brady Bergeson. Brady, it's a new look, but you still come in here without the suit.
New year, new threads, no suit.
That works. So 2014-15, we're here to talk season preview for Western Oregon men's basketball. And already the Great Northwest Athletic Conference releasing their preseason poll. And they're all preseason team. And Coach, a few highlights there for you. Highest preseason ranking since joining the GNAC in 2001 at number 4 in a very talented conference, obviously. 60 points in that poll. And then looking at the preseason team, you got two guys this year, Andy Obge and Devon Alexander.
Yeah, I think we're not going to sneak up on anybody this year. We've got plenty to prove, but with 10 returners coming back, 4 starters, I think the league saw that and said, hey, these guys have the experience to be up there. So it's a nice honor to be at 4 and be a higher preseason ranking than previous teams have been. But again, we all know that doesn't mean anything, and we've got number 1, we got to put it on the floor. Number 2, of course, our goals would be to aspire a little higher than that even. Andy Obge and Devon were singled out as both preseason all-conference type guys, and those are 2 of our key returners. We've got a number of them.
Yeah, Coach, we'll go ahead and rewind a little bit. Looking at the way you finished your season last year, 18-12, and right there in the postseason, you picked up the first postseason win since Western Oregon has joined the NCAA. And that was a great way to finish last year, and you mentioned those guys coming back, but boy, a great kind of catapult into the season.
Yeah, we hope so. It's going to come down to how much growth we've had in this off season, and what we're hoping for. We know we were playing better and better, our best basketball at the end of last year. It was still a relatively young group. We were sophomores and juniors loaded, and while we did lose some key seniors, I think we've got enough just returning experience. Those guys are now juniors and seniors. We've added a couple pieces to the roster that we hope will put us over the top a little bit.
Yeah, Coach, looking at some of those guys that have graduated, you got Mirza Shabic, Drew Johnson, an excellent starter for you. He really picked things up and did a whole lot off the stat sheet for you. Mm-hmm. And then you got your leading scorer, Rodney Webster. How do you replace those guys? Obviously, with a whole bunch of your percentage of scoring and rebounding coming back. You're not losing too much, but some great seniors you had last year.
Yeah, we are. Those guys all really kind of fit into their own mold and their own role and played that really well. We relied on Rodney Webster a lot, obviously. He made big shots. He had great courage, terrific scorer and playmaker for us. We'll look a little bit different without him. But again, everybody on the floor is going to do a little bit more. And with the new pieces that we've added, we'll look a little bit different. But we've got enough weapons, I think, offensively that we can share the basketball and be hard to guard. And then defense is, for us, is a staple. We know we can, as long as we're focused and stick to our tenets, we know we'll be a good defensive team as well.
Well, Coach, looking at this year's roster, you got plenty of size, which is very nice to have and very nice to talk about. You got 6 guys over 6'6", and a whole lot of experience coming back. We talked about Andy Obge, played a little bit of injury last year, but really battled through and had an excellent season. And then you got Marwan Sarhan also coming back this year, a guy who was double digits for you last year. So a whole lot of size coming for you in the front court.
Yeah, and I don't think that'll surprise anybody. We'll need to get those guys and figure out ways to get those guys touches underneath. We've got a fair amount of depth at our 4 and 5 position, which is somewhat rare. I think that's something that a lot of teams don't have. That plays to our advantage potentially. And I think that, we've both recruited and developed playmakers as guards, decision makers, guys that can do multiple things. So, if we do things properly, I think we balance each other pretty well. We've got a fair amount. We can go big lineups. We can go a little bit smaller lineups. We've got a fair amount of versatility that way and a fair amount of length as well.
Coach, looking at your schedule, obviously the Great Northwest Athletic Conference, one of the premier conferences in Division II basketball, only got one team in the regional tournament last year. That was pretty crazy that happened, but a great conference. Taking a look at the schedule, you got a couple of D1 exhibition games, Oregon State. Then you welcome a few teams here for an in-season tournament with Azusa Pacific and Colorado Christian. Talk a little bit about the slate and kind of what you're looking forward to.
Well, the Division I exhibition games, Oregon State and Oregon, on the 7th and 9th of November. Obviously, it's going to throw us right into the fire from the get-go. And our goal with that is just to get prepared. You know, we want to play well and show the things that we're seeing in practice displayed on the floor, predictable behavior, and a pattern of play. You know, and we'll go out there and compete and play hard, but the main point of those games is really to prepare us for what's coming. And, you know, our preseason is tough. It's going to really challenge us. It's exactly what this group needs. We're going to go on the road for 2 in San Diego at Point Loma. We'll play Fresno Pacific out there. Those are in-region games. Against 2 really quality opponents, very quality opponents. And we'll come back for a home set against Azusa Pacific and Colorado Christian, which you talked about. So right there in the first 2 weekends, we're going to be heavily tested with a lot of inter-region play.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Brady, I know we're going to get you in here a lot more this year and talk to you all about the season, but that'll do it for preseason outlook. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.